You like being on camera, I can tell.
You'll be on.
And I don't usually pay attention. All right, y'all. So if y'all didn't hear me earlier, my name is Brian. I'm gonna be your tour guide. This is Shane. It's obvious what Shane's doing. Y'all say hey to Shane.
Hi, Shane.
Hey. Shane is gonna get us right up to the loop. That's the top of the hill. After that, it's gonna be the walking portion of the tour. It's about 1/3 of a mile long, about 170 some steps. Some of them will be pretty significant. So if you start with me, you got to end with me. When we get to the Stillhouse steps, if you can't make it up them, let me know and I'll get a bus to come pick you up. And that will end that portion of the tour for you. Now, we're not going to cheat you from your whiskey. They'll bring you back down here and drop you off at the barrel house, and you'll just have to wait for us to get there, okay? Other than that, no smoking, no e-cigs, no vapes, no roll your owns, if you know what I mean. If you puff on it, water vapor, smoke comes out of your face, you can't do it here. No dipping or chewing. I know that might upset some of you ladies, but you can't do it while you're here. Pictures, you can take all the pictures you like, as long as you're outdoors. When we go up the Stillhouse steps, fermentation, charcoal mellowing, no pics in there, please, okay? Cell phones, if you got them, cut them down on vibrate and airplane mode. Try to stay off them, like I said, to the best of your ability to be courteous. No self-guided tours. You just can't opt out and take your own, okay? And that's another reason you just can't, also you just can't quit and decide that you can't go steps, you don't tell me. If you don't, you don't know where you're going. There's two good reasons you don't want to do that. One is I know where your whiskey is and you don't, right? The other one is there's about 120 security cameras around here. If they catch you walking around without me, they'll come pick you up and you get to take security's tour. And there ain't no whiskey at all at the end of security's tour, so if you want your whiskey, stick with me. I don't give a bad tour. I ain't got that many complaints. Have a Shane?
No.
All right, y'all. So if you look right up and start looking up the hill here in a second, we're gonna see some barrel house, a big barrel house, right about there. Now that barrel house, we got 80 like that. We got 95 in all, but we got 80 that size. Those are 7 stories tall. They hold 20,000 barrels. Each one of those barrels has got around 53 gallons per barrel in it, and it weighs about 535 pounds when you first roll them in there. Now those are basically just big barns. They're wood frames with tin skins. They're hot in the summertime, they're cold in the wintertime. There's about a 30-degree temperature differential between the upper floors as opposed to the lower floors. So if it were 100 degrees out here today, it'd be 130 in the upper floors of those barrel houses, which we'll use for our single barrels and our black label, okay? Now there is no climate control in there other than after we do what we do with the whiskey, we let Mother Nature and Father Time do the rest. So that's what we use as Mother Nature to make our whiskey. They'll stay in there, the barrels will stay in there for 4 to 7 years. 4 to 7 years. Okay? So I got a question. Who drinks Jack Daniels? Who drinks it regularly? Who drinks it daily? Who's had some already? Shane raised his hand. He's our safest driver. How many consecutive days you got safe driving? 2.
All right.
When you on vacation, one of them?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So 1. All right, y'all, when we get ready to disembark, y'all please watch your step as you step off. Use a handrail if you need it. And when you step off, y'all thank Shane for the nice ride. If you have questions, please ask. I like questions. It's, you know, you're here to learn. That's part of the tour. Just as long as, you know, they're not like real socially awkward or anything. They're just weird. Yes, ma'am.
How much does the heat change the taste of it?
Well, it'd be hard to say how much it does because it's all going to stay in there for 4 to 7 years. The upper floors will get hotter, so they'll make the richer. They'll be more flavorful because they stay in the heat longer and they pull more flavor out of the barrel.
So the heat.
The heat's more is important. Yes. Go watch your step. Use a handrail if you need.
That's the barrel house. You're having too much fun.
Huh?
You're having too much fun.
Yeah, I try.
I'll ask a question. So how many barrels do they make a year?
How many barrels do they make a year? Okay, well, we don't make barrels. But how many barrels do we fill a year?
There you go. That's a better question.
Well, I'll give you a little math. It averages. So I can't say that it's a hard number, but we fill them with barrels anywhere from 800 to 1,000 a day, 5 days a week. Now, barreling doesn't work on Saturdays or Sundays. So 5 days a week, if you just want to make it easy, say 1,000 barrels, 5 days a week, it's 5,000 barrels a week. And then you just extrapolate.
I got the math.
Math after that. A lot.
A lot.
How big is the plant, or what do you mean plant?
The land.
Oh, the land. So right here you got 650 acres proper at the distillery proper. We got 3,000 in all. 16 of those barrel houses set here. The rest are on the rest of our properties. All right, so where's everybody from?
Florida.
Florida.
California.
California.
Georgia.
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 Texas.
Texas.
Illinois.
Illinois.
Indiana.
Indiana.
Mississippi.
Mississippi.
Utah.
Utah.
Michigan.
Michigan.
Utah.
Utah. I'm from here. Y'all follow me. Now we're going down here to the rick yard. The rick yard's where we make the charcoal for the charcoal mellowing process. Charcoal mellowing process, or the Lincoln County process. Now the Lincoln County process, it's indigenous to this county. It was developed around this area about 1795. Guy named me, and we still use it to this day. Now Jack wasn't, of course, the first one to use it. There were other whiskey makers that used it, legal and otherwise, around here. But Jack outlasted all of them. We're the ones that use it today. And it involves making hardwood sugar maple trees into hardwood sugar maple charcoal. And that's what we call it, Lincoln County process. We drip our whiskey through it. I'll explain all of it when we get the charcoal mellow and how it works. But we're gonna go down here. The first place we're gonna see is the rick yard. Now, if y'all got one of those adult slushies, when you get down here to the foot of the hill to the right, it will be where you can you get it, okay? It's color coded. If you got a band on it, you can have one. If you ain't got a band of any color, you can't. Watch yourself, use a handrail if you need it. Come on this way. Grab your lemonade. Coke, she'll pull you on up as you get up there to it. If you got one, to step on over here in the shade. If you ain't got one, step over there in the shade. Pretty simple. You don't have a band. Oh, I see. Sorry.
Just falls down my big hip.
You made it.
All right, y'all be careful. Drink too fast, you can brain freeze. Follow me.
Follow him. Oh, rick yard.
All right, y'all, this is the rick yard. It's called the rick yard because of stacks of wood out there. You buy firewood around here, You buy it by the quart or the rick. That's 1 rick of hardwood sugar maple. Comes with an 80-mile radius of Jack Daniels cut in 4-foot length 2x2s. The 4 lumber contractors that supply it to us. They cut it there and bring it here. Now Darren and Tracy let it season in the yard. Darren and Tracy are the gentlemen that do this for us. They only work first shift 5 days a week. They don't work holidays and weekends, and they don't burn every day. Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays is about the schedule. But when it gets seasoned, because they let it season in the yard for about 6 months before they put 4 of those ricks up under the hood, and they'll start the burn process. Right there, they got it started. Now, it'll burn. Also, that's them on the walls if you wonder what they look like. They ain't real photogenic, but that's them. That's what I see them doing mostly. Sitting and watching the fire burn. So, once they get it started, it's going to get up to about 1,800 degrees. As it burns, Darren and Tracy will periodically grab a hose and spray it on that fire. If they spray too much too soon, they get a bunch of unburnt sugar maple. Too little too late, they get a bunch of sugar maple ash. But Darren and Tracy, they're great at what they do. They've been doing it for a while. And when they're done, there's a nice big fat pile of charcoal like you'll see here in a minute. Now, that accelerant they spray on there, what do you reckon the accelerant's going to be?
Whiskey.
Yes, well, kind of. It's moonshine.
Grain alcohol.
It's 140 proof corn liquor moonshine. It's in that can right there. It says whiskey for destruction, and it's this bottle right here. Now, this is like a pre-sample to a sample. Depends on what you do with it. Because the intent of this is to spray it on your hands. That way you can get a tactile feel for it, and you'll feel a little oiliness. And I'll tell you what we do, how do we get that oiliness out in a little bit. And then you can smell it, and then it's your hand. If you want to, you can lick it. So it depends on your hand. Depends on where your hand's been. So I'm gonna spray this on your hand. This is a real simple procedure. If you want some, hold your hand out. If you want a lot, hold both hands out. If you don't want any, don't hold any out. Okay? So here we go. Anybody? Think about this. It's 140 proof high quality.
You doing it?
hand sanitizer.
You're gonna do it?
Don't wipe it off your hands. I'll show you. Don't wipe it off your hand. I'll show you the hillbilly trick here in a second.
Hillbilly trick.
How we prove moonshine.
Never done it yet. Gonna show you the
Everybody
video.
get some?
He said don't wipe it
All
off.
right, here you go. Look here. It's called the 3 clap method. That's how they proof whiskey right here. Grab, rub it a little bit. Don't rub it a lot and breathe it. You smell the alcohol right up front, right? Second time. You smell a little bit less alcohol, a little bit more corn, right? Third time. You smell mostly corn. All right. Why is that? Because if the higher proof it is, the quicker it burns off. It burns off at 130 to, if it burns off that quick in 3 rubs, it's between 120 to 140. Hillbillies know stuff, right? And that's what it does now. And that's what it does when it comes out of the still. Now, when it gets out from under there, when we get it out from under the hood, y'all seen the finished product, it's big and chunky. Like this right here, we can't use it big and chunky. It won't do us any good. We put it in our charcoal melon vats like that, and start dripping whiskey, we'll just roll over it like pebbles over water over pebbles. But Darren and Tracy, as Jack did as well, Jack used a hand grinder, okay? But we got something a little bit more modern, and they take it over to the grind house and they grind it down to a consistency like that. Now when it gets to be that size right there, that's when it's ready to pack in our charcoal melon vats. Okay? I'll tell you what they do. Jack would say it sweeten the whiskey. They really don't sweeten the whiskey. I'll tell you what it actually does when we get up to charcoal melon. Okay? Any questions? Follow me.
Oh, on mine.
Fire brigade.
Well, that's 140 proof. Come out to something lower, it would take it longer to burn off.
Okay, I do have a question. Where we were just at, do they still use that to make it, or is that just for the tour now?
Ain't nothing here just for show. Very little. They still use it every day. Well, we use it every day. We still use charcoal. They don't burn every day. The schedule I told you is right.
Right.
Yeah.
No, that area we were actually at, do they actually make stuff there?
They burn no charcoal there, yeah.
Oh, okay.
All right, y'all. So J. Daniels got its own fire brigade. It's made up of full-time employees or professionally trained firefighters. They go to if they're not already trained firefighters or paramedics when they get here, they go to Bedford County over there, State Academy in Decent, and they go to Texas College Station for industrial fire. Now, we don't put a bunch of highly trained firefighters in apparatus like this, but this is the first one we ever had. This is a 1919 American LaFrance, made in that year in Elmira, New York. Now, it doesn't run anymore, but this one does. This is a number 2, fire engine number 2. This is a 1928 REO Speedwagon. Y'all ever heard of the band REO Speedwagon? Stands for Ransom Eli Olds. He's the manufacturer of the Oldsmobile, but he also made this apparatus for a little while. And we still use it today in promotion of our Tennessee Fire liqueur. Tennessee Fire is old number 7 infused with cinnamon. And y'all will have it on the tour. All right, now who's ever had it? Good deal. If you hadn't had it, you're in for a treat if you like cinnamon and whiskey. Now, this is the best tour to be on because you get more samples. The other one you only get 5 in, right? This one you get 6, but if you pay attention and listen, I can tell you how to get 8 out of it if you're interested.
When we just had this one, right?
No, that don't count. So when we get in there, the last 3 whiskeys, well, it'll be 6 whiskeys there. The last 3 whiskeys are liqueurs, actually. The honey, the fire, and the apple, okay? Don't drink all the honey, save a little bit. Sip it and save it. Cinnamon, sip it and save it. And the apple, sip it and save it. Then you take some of the cinnamon and put it in the honey. It makes you a Tennessee bee sting. Take the rest of the cinnamon and put it in the apple. It makes you a Tennessee candied apple. This ain't hard chemistry, right? Cinnamon goes in both. Nothing goes in the cinnamon. All right? Okay. I'll remind you later. Come on, mate.
The tax office is not a building you can take pictures in.
Get something out of it too.
Are you keeping this?
I guess. You know I will.
That's why I'm asking.
All right, y'all, so we'll step up here in just a second. We got somebody over. We want to Cave Springs. So y'all just follow me over there. We're going to come back out into Dead End. But while we're waiting, I'll tell you something. That's our grain silos. We fill them every week with 150 truckloads, corn, barley, and rye. That equals out to about 100,000 bushels a week. Corn's what we use the most of. If you want to put that in land mass, that's about 95 acres of corn a day. Yeah, we make a little whiskey here. Steel house is over there. That's Mr. Jack's office. We'll go in there. Mr. Jack's office is the oldest building at the distillery. So when we go in there, you'll see Jack Daniels is like a health food product. We only got 6 ingredients. It's all organic. It's good for you. Right, that Cave Springs water you'll learn about here in a second. Corn, 80% corn, 12% barley, 8% rye. Yeast is proprietary Jack, same strain he used. And the leftover fermentation from the last process called sour mash or setback. And that's all we use to make our whiskeys. We don't have any artificial colors, flavors, or sugars added, like some of them Kentucky whiskeys do. I will show you, point it out to the corn, barley, and rye when we get in there, okay? Also, you'll see Jack's pictures in there. You'll see a few other things in there when we get in there. People always ask me, was Jack married? Did he have any kids? Who did he leave the place to? Jack never had any children, as far as we know. So who did he leave it to? He left it to 2 of his nephews, Lem Motlow and Dick Daniels. Okay, Lem and Dick both worked here from childhood on up. And Jack always told them, boys, you work good, do a good job, make me proud, I'll leave you the place someday. And he did. He left in 1907, he left the daily operations. Jack still is the master distiller. He still tasted the whiskey, made the whiskey, and sold the whiskey, okay? And then as far as Jack being married, he died wealthy and happy. Never married. questions. All right.
Maybe.
What did we do through Prohibition?
I saw on a sign, like back where we started, that there's still a family member that works here, or
There's lots of family members that still work here. I mean, the Jack never had any children, so it would be periphery lineage, like his nieces, nephews, and things like that. And there's still Montlows that work here, some of them on down the line.
I'm here to help her. My mom is sick as well.
Where did she go?
It's right there.
She's so small. If you want to throw it out, but you decide.
So, we have a
Now come on up here, let's go. All right, y'all, so this is the source of water for Jack Daniels. This cave springs down here in the hollow. Jack set up here in about 1881. We've been here ever since. Jack was looking for a cool, clear, iron-free source of water for his whiskey when he moved over here. This water is crystal clear, it's iron-free, and it's 56 degrees year-round, okay? But what's important about that? Well, if you don't know anything about making whiskey, water's the bones of the whiskey. It's what everything's built off of. If you don't have a good water, you're not going to have a good whiskey, no matter how fancy you make it. And it's got to come from a natural source. Now, granted, all water is natural, but it can't go through filtration plants or anything like that. It's not city water. It's got to come from a spring, a creek, in some cases a river. But now this is an underground. This comes from an underground water source. It comes from 3 fountains. It's got 3 springs to it. Most likely an underground river. You know, there's more water underground than there's above. So, but this water is it's cool, clear, it's iron-free. Why does it have to be iron-free? Because iron adulterates whiskey. If you make a whiskey with a high iron content, put it in the barrel house in 4 to 7 years to turn that whiskey black and give it a foul taste. Because iron and alcohol chemically, they ain't friends, they're antagonists. And it turns that whiskey black. And Jack knew that then. Why is this water iron-free? This is a limestone cave. Limestone removes the iron from the water, but it also imparts calcium and magnesium in that water. It gives it a sweet taste. You ever heard of places like Sweetwater, Florida, Sweetwater, Texas, Sweetwater, Georgia, Sweetwater, Tennessee, all named after the water source. And that's generally limestone. And that's how Jack knew what he was tasting, sweet taste. How Jack learned to know what kind of water to look for? Jack just didn't wake up one morning and it's ripe away to 7 and say, I gotta find me some iron-free water, make me some whiskey. He had to learn from somebody, right? Now most people around here learn from their kids. I learned from my grandfather's and Uncle Jack. He learned from 2 men, Dan Call and Uncle Mary's. Now Dan's family, they moved here from North Carolina. And Dan was just a wee lad when they moved over here. But as he grew up, when they moved over here, they did what everybody else was doing. Raise crops, cattle, make whiskey. Pretty much in that way. And but now there's a Call Distillery over there in North Carolina to this day. Over around Wilkesboro. Anyway, so when Dan came over, as he grew up, he became prosperous. He had his own dry goods store. That's how he met Jack. Jack worked at the dry goods store for him. He had his own still house, of course, had his own cattle, had his own church. Well, Dan was a Lutheran minister. So, you know, he could preach about the Spirit on Sunday. He'd sell it the other 6 days for the week, right? So Jack learned how to make whiskey from a preacher and one armed slave man named Nathan Nearest Green, or Uncle Nearest, which Dan would say was one of the best whiskey makers around here beside him. So they both taught Jack about how to make whiskey. They taught him about what a mash bill is. A mash bill is a percentage of corn, barley, rye, you put in your whiskey that gives it its flavor. All different whiskeys use different mash bills. They taught Jack one, he tweaked it a little bit. He liked a little bit more rye. We use that recipe today. They taught him about what kind of water to use. They taught him about fermentation and distillation. Now we don't use the same form of distillation that Jack did. Jack used a pot still. Y'all saw that in the visitor center? Copper pot. Well, that's not Jack's, but it's more like it. And but we use a continuous column still, or a coffee type still after Ananias Other than that, that attention to detail, adherence to tradition, the quality of the product we got in our whiskey, plus the quality of the folks we got making our whiskey, because lots of us work through generations. The reason we're the number one selling whiskey in the world today. You ain't got to believe me, you can Google it and see if I'm wrong. But I'm not. Any questions? Alright, y'all, if you want to get a picture right here in front of the cave, feel free to do so. If you want me to take a picture of you, just ask. Otherwise, y'all meet me over at Jack's statue. Do not go down the steps yet, please. Yes, ma'am. Jack was 80, and he died after 1911, so Prohibition kicked in. They started using the continuous calling still in 1911 until it fully kicked in. Then they had to stop.
Take my picture by Jack Daniels.
This is, Jack's not his real name, and this is not the original statue that stood here. The original statue that stood here from 1941 to the year 2000. Y'all saw him in the visitor center when you walked in the front door, right? Stood up on that pedestal. He's kind of like our Walmart greeter. He's the first thing you see when you walk in. And that was commissioned by his nephew, Lem Mallow, in 1911, 30 years after Jack's death. Now that one in the visitor center is Jack's actual height. Jack was only 5 foot 2 inches tall when he's alive. Wore size 4 shoe. He's a little fella. 2,000 pounds of Italian marble. Now this one, in contrast, is 650 pounds out of bronze. About 5 foot 6. Sporting size 7s. No, I don't know why they made him taller than the original Jack, or why they got him sporting a Captain Morgan pose, right? That one in the visitor center is Captain Jack or Uncle Jack. This one is Jack on the rocks. Get it? Yeah, I know that's corny. I didn't make that one up. I will tell some corny jokes. Just give me a courtesy laugh every now and then. Anybody want to get up here and get a shot of Jack on the rocks? Get it? Take a picture with him or of him?
Yeah. Come on.
Hi-ho, hi-ho. You did say cameras are good in this next place.
But now there were people that lived here in the storage, Jack.
So there was people who lived.
Yeah, when you look down Whiskey Road there, none of that used to be on this side. They were all houses. Even up into the 50s, a lot of them people lived on the distillery.
Was it mostly workers?
Yeah, my business workers.
Was there anyone that lives here now?
On the distillery? No. It's all corporate now. All right, y'all.
We're about to find out.
Scoot over this one, please. All right, y'all. This is, I already told you about the corn barley rye, that health food product right over there. 80% corn, 12% barley, 8% rye. That's Jack's grain bill. Now, this is Jack's distiller's wall, okay? Master distiller's wall. We consider Uncle Nearest the master distiller when he was working with Dan, but we don't have pictures of Uncle Nearest. As far as I know, none real ones exist. So if you do go, this is Jack right here. His distillery crew about 1895, 1900. That's Jack right there. He's the only man standing in that picture. Everybody else is seated. Kind of illustrates how short he was. And also, so if this is, like I said, it's an iconic picture. If you do a search, this will pop up. If you search Nearest Green, Uncle Nearest, it'll pop up as well. This picture will. But there'll be a big red circle around there saying that's Uncle Nearest. It ain't Uncle Nearest. Okay, I know it's hard to believe. Everything you read on the internet's not true. But that's not Uncle Nearest. It is his son, though, George Green. George came over here when Jack moved over here, started setting up shop, and he liked it so well. Jack paid him the same wage as everybody else, and he liked it so well he brought his other brothers over here. He had 5 of them. They started working here pretty soon, and they worked here for the rest of their lives, and now their children work here, and grandchildren. But family's a big thing. Lots of families work here generationally. Some of mine worked here before me. I work here today. My daughter works here as well. So, but Jack, this is Jack. He's our master distiller right here. When he passed away, he passed along to his nephew, Lem Montlow. I'm sorry, Jess Montlow. And then he passed along, when he died, he passed along to Lem Tolley. His grandson works here today as a tour guide. Mr. Gamble, he wasn't kin to anybody around here as far as I know. Mr. Bobo, though, that's Frank Frog Bobo. He was one of our oldest master distillers. He lived to be 95 years old. Just passed away 2 years ago. Only didn't get him, he just went naturally. And then, but when he passed away, he passed along to Jeff. I mean, when he retired, he went on to Jimmy Bedford. Jimmy Bedford passed along to Jeff Arnett. He was lucky number 7. Oh, Jeff, he decided he's going to retire and go make his own whiskey. It's called the Whiskey Company, and he makes company whiskey. It's a good product. We don't hold him no ill will. He did a good job when he was here. Well, when he retired, he passed it along to Chris Fletcher. Chris Fletcher's the hometown boy. That's Mr. Bobo's, his granddaddy. And so, but now he earned his bones. He worked in several other distilleries before he came back over here. And now he is our master distiller, Chris Fletcher. Now our assistant, we got our first lady assistant master distiller. Her name's Lexi R. Marker Phillips. And Lexi, her family worked here before her. She worked here, went to school, worked here, married a guy that works here. My big mother-in-law works here. I don't know how much plus that is. I know her mother-in-law. But anyway, she's a sweet girl. Anyway, I have one big happy family. So people, lots of families work here. Y'all come on in here.
I was going to say, I wonder if it really takes to become a master.
Connections and knowledge.
Having a granddaddy that worked here was one of them.
All right, that's Jack. This, by the way, I forgot to tell you, Jack was born and raised around here. Did I tell you what Jack's real name was? I did. Jack's real name was Jasper Newton Daniel. He got the name Jack from his 9 brothers and sisters. Okay, they called him Baby Jackie, and it stuck, and that's how we know him today as Jack Daniel. Okay, he just adopted that name and liked it. Now, I already told you about all this in here. This is Jack. This is what led to Jack's demise. Old Jack got to work early one morning. As a general rule, Jack never got to work early, but on this particular morning he did. He's going to go to Nashville, he's going to sell him some whiskey, he had to get some money out of here later. Jack was in a bit of a hurry because he had to catch a train up there in Tullahoma. Jack did not live at the distillery. He lived down the road in Mulberry, Tennessee. Well, he lived just right down there on Whiskey Road, just right up the street. But Jack did not. So Jack comes in on his horse and buggy. The sun's just coming up over the ridge line there. Comes in, he's going to open this safe because he had to get some traveling cash. Because, you know, back in 1906, they didn't have ATMs, right? So he had to get him some money. He comes in, he's going to open that safe. Now, he'd opened it hundreds of times. But on this particular day, he just couldn't get it to work. First time he tried, he failed. Second time he tried, he failed. Third time he tried, he failed. Fourth time he tried. Fifth time he tried. The more he tried, the madder he got. You know, but it's frustrating to know you can do something, but you just can't get it to work, right? Jack, he got angry and he kicked that safe as hard as he could. Broke the big toe on his left foot. Now, Jack didn't know that at the time. He just knew it hurt. He thought he stubbed it really bad. Who's ever stubbed their toe? What do you usually do when you stub your toe?
Scream.
Scream. Curse, swear, holler. That's what Jack walked around in circles, walking off the pants. That's what Jack was doing when in walks Lem. Lem, that's his habit every day was to open up the safe and get out to the work proceedings. So he comes in, puts down his lunch that Miss Ophelia made him, and he opens up the safe. Opens it up, first shot, no problem, which I imagine pissed Jack off a little bit. Jack hobbled over and got that money on that letter. He took off, he sold whiskey in Nashville for about a week. But you know how guys are, they're procrastinating. He didn't get that foot checked out right away. And so before though, but while he was up there, it started turning angry on him. He couldn't bear weight. So he went to the doctor. And the doctor told him gangrene had set in. He's going to lose about half that foot. Which, you know, Jack could ill afford. He's short enough as it was. When he left the doctor's 3 days later, he was a half a foot shorter, right? I know that's bad. And for the next 5 years, this is in 1906, Jack lost different parts of that leg to gangrene. Now, Jack wasn't going to live forever, none of us are, but he might have lived a little longer. Oh, I'm sorry, let me get back to that. Why didn't he, people ask me, why didn't he treat it with antibiotics? We didn't have them down here in 1906. Well, why did he treat it with the whiskey? Well, you know what the Irish say about that, what whiskey can't cure, there's no cure for it. I found that to be true, and it didn't work. Jack succumbed October the 9th, 1911. He was 61 when he died from his last surgery. Now, Jack wasn't going to live forever, no, I'm sorry, but he might have lived a little longer had he not got to work early that morning, lost his temper, and kicked that safe. So if there's a moral to the story, what is it?
Don't kick a
Don't go to work early.
Early, that's correct. I'm following you.
That's my favorite one. The early bird gets gangrene.
That sounds like what it is.
Okay, besides doing this, the tour guide stuff, have you done other jobs on the?
I worked at the barrel house for a little bit, and I worked in bottling for a little bit. Key words are work. That's why I do this. This stuff
Probably
like
this is
work
funner, I'd
more
imagine.
fun, yeah. That's the original safe, yes ma'am. That's the oldest house in the distillery. Building at the distillery was built in 1881. Well, somewhere around that neighborhood. All right, any questions? All right, we're gonna stop. I already told you about the grain silos. We're gonna go up in the still house, okay? If you can't make it up the still house steps, let somebody to let me know, okay? Because I gotta be the first out. Other than that, we'll proceed on. I don't care if it takes you a minute to get up, just get up. If you can't, let me know. All right, follow me.
They got plastic on here to make it cool. Still house. Number 7 brand. Number 3. Number 1.
They're 40 foot tall. The two on the end are the smallest. They're 15 inches across, 53 inches across, and they produce 15 gallons a minute. These produce 35 to 40. Now, they're 100% copper inside and out. On the inside, you got steel with holes in them, like a colander or a sieve. Set at a 45-degree angle, about 18 inches apart. Okay? This is the sour bag. Corn body bag, east water setback, that health food I was telling you about. That's it's been fermented. We got to get the alcohol out. How do we do it? We force our mash at the top of the steel. When we get up to the top of the steel, we force it down inside the steel. As we force it down, we force steam up between those holes. That steam cooks the alcohol out of the mash, turns it into a vapor. That alcohol-laden vapor rises to the top. When you get it to the top, we collect it in the condenser, or what moonshiners call the worm. Y'all see that copper coil at the visitor center? That always goes in cool barrel water. It's basically just a hillbilly condenser. And it condenses that vapor back down into a liquid. That liquid's what you see right there. That's 140 proof white lightning. We call it white dog or moonshine. You remember that stuff was sprayed on your hands? Same stuff. Okay? So to give you a shortened version, a 12-nose version, whiskey, sour mash, still. Sour mash up, whiskey down. Any questions? As simple as it gets. Now listen, we're going to go to fermentation. Fermentation is harder than the hinges on the gates of hell. So we're just going to buzz through there and go out. And I'll tell you about fermentation topside. Outside. I'll tell you about my side.
They actually cool with a worm inside, and you just
Yeah, there's a worm in there. Foil all the way around. It's cooling. Bless you. That's how it works. So we make rye up above on the other hill over there, but we make all the rest of it here. But it all starts out as moonshine.
Yep.
What we do with it after we get it in the barrels, or what we add to it, is how we make it different.
That was a little warm.
So everything else you do is like
That was a little warm in there.
Huh?
That was a little warm in there. You got my glasses?
They're steaming out the alcohol.
Fan don't work, y'all. It used to. They got it. I've been working here 9 years. I just got this 3 weeks ago. It's already broke. All right, so y'all smell that? Fermentation. Okay. Now, basically all fermentation is, now first off, we got 66 fermenters. They're 20 foot tall. They hold 40,000 gallons. Corn, barley, rye, yeast, water, setback. Takes 6 days to ferment jack. I don't know what that smells like. It's on day 3 or 4. So I can't tell. We used to could look in and see the fermentation taking place, but we got a new safety guy and he cut that out. So, but he did put that big fan here, which don't work. Anyway, so basically all fermentation is yeast having its breakfast, dinner, and supper. It's consuming the sugars in the corn, helped out by an enzyme in the barley.
as it consumes that sugar, it gives off two byproducts, CO2 and alcohol. So like, if you look at it, so it takes 6 days. On day one, they fill it up, and it's gonna, by the end of the day, it'll start to bubble. And those bubbles will get bigger. Day two, it'll be a heavy boil. Looks like we're cooking it on a high heat, except heat kills yeast, which is counterproductive to making whiskey. So that ain't what's making those bubbles. So what is? Basically what it is the yeast. What it's doing, it gives off two byproducts, CO2 and alcohol. So as it consumes that sugar, it's burping out the CO2. It reproduces every 20 minutes. And we'll just say it excretes alcohol. So the first day it's going to be really big bubbles. Second day it's going to be less. The third day it's going to be less. Fourth day and so on. But on day 6 it's going to be flat. Why is that? Because alcohol is deadly to yeast. So the more it produces, the quicker it kills itself off. Day 6 it's flat. Fermentation has ceased. That's when we pump it over to the stills. And when we pump it over to the stills, it's a 5-to-1 ratio. For every 5 gallons of mash, you get 1 gallon of whiskey. So if that's a 40,000 gallon vat, how much whiskey do we get out of one? 8,000 gallons. 8,000 gallons. Now what do we do with the rest of it? That's called spent mash when it comes out, or we get that out. The rest, some of it we leave behind in the stills for the starters. I mean in the fermenters for the starter. The rest of it we pump up on the other side of the hill. It's called spent mash this time. Still got alcohol in it. There ain't no 100% distillation method. So when it's up there, when you get it over there, what do you reckon we do with it? We sell it to the local cattle farmers, hog farmers too, about 55 cents a ton. Y'all ever, and then now bear in mind it's got alcohol in it. Y'all ever seen that ad campaign that California's got about having happy cows?
Yep.
Ours are happier. We marinate them from the inside out on the hoof. Corn, barley, rye, yeast, water, setback, and alcohol makes them fat, happy, and docile.
Is that what makes their meat good?
It is. We marinate them from the inside out. So when you leave here today, look out in the farmers' fields. If you see the cattle kind of walking funny, or they're laying on their side, well, you know they got fed recently, right? Any questions?
All the cornfields that are around here, are they mostly?
Nah, they're not ours. Mostly, they're in this county, about 5,000 acres worth we buy from one farmer. The rest of it, there's some in Alabama. The rest of it around here is grown for cattle production and other things. All right, y'all follow me. Okay, there you go. Cattle production with feed cattle.
Yeah, you understand that. In other words, it's crappy corn.
You don't want cattle. It's tougher and
Yeah, it's not good. It's not edible. Uh-oh. Do I get turn this off here? It says no picture.
yes.
All right, y'all, these are our charcoal mellowing vats. We got 72 of these. They are 14 foot tall, 10 foot of which is packed with hardwood sugar maple charcoal. Not only did Darren and Tracy make the charcoal, they also are responsible for packing these and unpacking them, okay? So once they unpack one, repack it, start hanging that dispersion tree over top, it takes about 2 to 5 days to pass down to the bottle, okay? 1 drop at a time. We make our whiskey 1 drop at a time. As it travels down through that charcoal, it removes corn oils, fatty acids, and foods oil, or some zesters. So when I sprayed this on your hand, you felt that it was kind of oily, right? Well, this removes a lot of that oil. Who licked their hand? Taste it. There you go. When you taste it, it was sweet on the front end, right? But it wasn't so sweet on the back end. This removes the not so sweet on the back end. This is where Jack would say, why Jack would say it's sweet in the whiskey. It removes those things that make the whiskey not as sweet as it normally would be. Makes sense? It makes it pop.
How do they get it from there to here? Just by a wheelbarrow?
No, they repump it. There's a pipe. Yeah, there's pipes right here. See that pipe? comes down. Eventually, it comes from over there.
How tall did you say it is?
Well, 14 foot tall, but 10 foot of which is packed with hardwood sugar maple. That's about 14 to 16 ricks. Now, it'll stay in here for about 8 months to a year. It just depends on when we put it in, okay? This is what makes us a Tennessee sipping whiskey. We're not an Irish whiskey. We're not a Scotch whiskey. We're not a Canadian whiskey. We're damn sure in a Kentucky whiskey. We're a Tennessee whiskey, and this is what makes that the Lincoln County process. Okay, when it comes out the bottom, it starts out 140 proof clear, just like you've seen in there in the still house. When it comes out the bottom, it's just as clear as you've seen it in the still house, except now it's lost a little proof. It's 140 proof. We run it from here to the barrels, and that's what we barrel it at. And barrels go up in the barrel houses. All right, any questions?
How long does it take to go from the top to the bottom?
2.5, sometimes 2 days, sometimes 5, just depends.
For one drop?
For one drop. What do we do with the charcoal? How do we decide when it comes out? Well, 8 months to a year, we don't time it. We don't say, well, we put that in there for 8 months, it should be ready to come out. We taste it. They pay you to taste it, sample it, yeah. 50 cents a shot. I make about an extra 20 bucks a week. When it comes out the bottom now, as long as it meets the taste profile we want it to, it stays. When it stops, we pull it out. Darren and Tracy do. We sell it to a place in Arkansas that makes Jack Daniel's charcoal briquettes for your barbecue. Y'all saw those in the visitors. I mean, in the brickyard. That's what we do with it. Any questions?
Doesn't sound like much goes to waste here.
We don't waste much at all here, huh? The sawdust, we got a steam plant. So we buy the sawdust from the people that make our ricks. We buy it from them and we power our steam plant with it. All right, y'all. So, here, this is when we have a little class participation. I need a little help. So, I'm gonna grab this handle. I'm gonna give y'all a free shot of Jack Daniels. Aerolized shot, pretty Daniels. So, somebody grab a handle there. Somebody grab a handle on the other side. You get an idea. If you next to the handle, grab it. Everybody else take your hands off of it. Don't lean on it. What we're going to do is bounce this up and down. As we bounce it up and down, you lean in and breathe deep. The deeper you breathe, the more you'll like it. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Everybody get a hit? All right, y'all leave us out. Walk way down. I got to be the last out.
You gotta make sure we all get out.
Make sure people don't put on the stuff.
That smells good. Drew would love this.
Alright, hey
That's
man.
cold.
Look on the right hand side there. You see that sign that says notice push to exit? Right hand. On the wall. There you go. Push that button. Hold it down, push the hand down. That's all.
Continue to push to exit. Oh, you can smell it down here. I'm glad we did this. Well, we still got the tasting, but we only got about 7 more minutes. We probably got to see the bottle and everything. Or the barrel and the bottle. Don't fall.
All righty. Everybody always asks, why is everything dark? It's a microfloring organism. It was originally noticed in France when they started making like wine for public consumption. It's called Boedonia campesina, that's the phylum name. And it only grows where there's large quantities of yeast and alcohol. Moonshiners call it tattletale moss or black frost because that only grows where alcohol is made, like right here. It's harmless. It hurts nobody or nothing. It just kind of stains things. Any questions? All right, y'all follow me.
That's how they find the moonshiners in the day. Take a deep breath. There's definitely a different smell. But, you can tell that they make alcohol here. Oh, is that the stream? That must be part of the stream. That's what we're going to learn about right now. Still okay?
Yeah, that's fine. You can do it in here too. All right, y'all. Jack Daniels is one of the only whiskey makers in the world still make their own barrels. They make them at a place called Trinity, Alabama, Louisville, Kentucky. Places they make them are called Coopers. It's the folks that make them are called Coopers. You ever known anybody with the surname Cooper? That's where the name came from. Some of their family made barrels. And this is just a brief overview of that. And then I'll come back and tell you what our whiskey does in those barrels.
Here at Jack Daniels, we don't put our whiskey in barrels. We entrust it to them. You see, a good barrel is more than a container for the whiskey. It's really an ingredient. All of the whiskey's color and a good part of its flavor are drawn from the barrel. That's why we go to the extra effort to make our own, crafted from American white oak. The rough stains are cut from the trunk and left to season in the open air. The simple seasoning of the wood prepares the oak to contribute to the character of the whiskey. Next, the staves are carefully planed, cupped on one side, and the joints cut at a slight angle. A mistake here, and the barrel will leak, giving the angels more than their fair share. Now the staves go to the barrel raiser. Yes, barrels are raised, not built. The cooper fits together by hand staves of different widths, like puzzle pieces. 33 staves to the barrel. A seasoned barrel maker will raise 250 barrels a day. Now it's time for toasting, the crucial step to crafting a barrel that will impart the greatest flavor. Toasting releases much of the flavor locked inside the wood, such as our distinctive vanilla accent. Our barrel is now ready for the roar of the char tunnel's flame. As it passes through the fire, the natural sugar in the wood caramelizes. More flavor for the whiskey to draw from. Finally, a craftsman prepares the barrel for its head. The hoops are put on. The bunghole drilled. The barrel tested for leaks. And inspected under a cooper's watchful eye. At long last, the barrel is ready to receive its whiskey. It'll go in clear with a hint of flavor, but emerge mature with a rich amber color and a warm, robust taste. We all know it as Jack Daniels. We believe the barrel is so important to the quality and maturity of the whiskey that we go to the added expense of making our own. We hope you'll agree. The extra effort is well worth it.
All right, y'all, so that's how it's done. Now, there's 3 iterations to our barrels. There's toasted, charred, used. We put 53 gallons in the new barrel, new charred barrel, put it in the barrel house. Now, y'all remember when I said if we do what we do with whiskey, we let Mother Nature and Father Time do the rest? Well, that's what we do. So what we rely on Mother Nature for is 2 elements, hot and cold. So what does wood do when it gets hot? It expands. Well, that whiskey will get hot in there as well, and when it expands, it sucks that whiskey up inside there. You see that line? That's called the whiskey line, or the soda line. Now, as it stays in there, it'll start breaking down the components of the barrel. Wood's only got 3 major components: cellulose, hemicellulose, and lignin. Lignin is the polymer that gives the wood its strength and makes it hard. But as it breaks down, it gives off a substance called vanillin. You ever taste caramel or vanilla in Jack? That's where it comes from, the wood. We get about 75% of our taste from the wood. We get all of our color. Because when it pulls through here, it doesn't get it from the char. If I were to take a knife, a pocket knife, and scrape it right here, it would be a little red line. And that's where we get it, from the red line. So when it soaks through that red line, it turns into reddish amber. That's one cycle. Now, how do we get it out to flavor the whiskey that was left behind? Because like I said, not all of it comes out. What does wood do when it gets cold, or anything for that matter? It shrinks, right? When it shrinks, it pushes that whiskey back out to the center of the wood barrel over a 6-month period, and it starts flavoring that whiskey that was left behind. And that's how it works, in and out, in and out. And each time it goes in and it comes out, it'll come out a darker color, a richer taste. The upper floors make the darker, richer whiskeys. 5th door, that's where we get our fixings for our black label and our single barrel. The lower floors where we get our fixings for our green label, Gentleman Jack, and our black label. Green label is only sold in Tennessee, Texas, Pennsylvania, New York, and New Jersey. And if you get a chance to get it, you better get it now, because there ain't gonna be no more. And old number 7 is a blending of 175 to 200 barrels off the different floors of the barrel houses. Each floors progressively as you go have a different taste. The taste is constant with Jack Daniels, or what you'd recognize as Jack Black Label. Any questions? How many times do we use our barrels? Just once. What did we do with it from then? Who drinks scotch? Okay, thanks. Somebody did in the last tour, maybe, Scotch whiskey. Who drinks Irish whiskey? Scotch whiskey makers are our #1 consumers. Irish whiskey makers are #2 consumers. Who drinks tequila? Tequila uses our whiskey. Rum, like Appleton's out of Jamaica, they use our barrels. Beer makers, wine makers, Tabasco sauce, they use our barrels. Any questions? All right, y'all, we're gonna go on bottling. Bottling is closed because it's the holidays. They get off on holidays. They don't work on weekends anyway. So when we go through there, we're just gonna stand there briefly and then come out the other end.
It's a weekend, they're not making bottles. Oh, how boring. They're not making bottles. This reminds me of Disney where they're making the bread.
What happens to the
This
barrels
is Disneyland for
Exactly.
Us adults.
What happens to the barrels after they're
Well, you hear me when I ask you who drinks scotch? We sell them to Scotch whiskey makers. We sell them to Irish whiskey makers, sell them to rum makers. We use some people use them for furniture, but that's what they use mainly for.
You guys gave one to XM, they have it.
Huh?
I see them around in, in Nashville.
Yeah, they sell them everywhere. The ones that come out of the barrel houses ain't real pretty. They've sexy them up to look like those out there. All right, y'all, this is not main bottling. This is just what we do with our single barrels and some of our specialty whiskeys. You see that load right there? That's going to Canada. Now, the reason those are, if you look, those are big boxes. Those are our 3 liters. We can't sell 3 liters in the States because, you know, federal government. But we sell them to Canada and everybody else. But that's where that's going. And that's, we do single barrels in here, those 3 liters, and specialty whiskeys, things that we do limited runs of. Make sense? All righty, y'all come on out.
Building 5. Crash only. Into the parking lot. Tired of me yet?
Nah.
Yes.
Hey, somebody filmed my whole tour. You can find it on YouTube. I didn't know it was even going on.
It's going to be there in a couple weeks. This way, when you pass, your proteges will know.
Yeah. All right, y'all, any questions? That's not main bottling. Like I said, main bottling is down the road in south, about 2.5 clicks from here, or 1.5 miles. That's where we do the lion's share of our shipping, handling, receiving, bottling. We got about 7 lines that run there. Okay, any questions?
Is all the distilling done here, or is it also
Yeah,
split down
all
there?
of it's done right there in that barrel house.
Okay.
I mean, that still house.
Okay.
Oh, hey, Brian, this
Hey.
water, that's coming from the spring?
Yes. Yeah, we can't, I mean, we don't use all the water, right? I mean, 2 million gallons flow through there a day, believe it or not. And we don't use even half that. So, and we can't, it's got to go, we can't dam it up.
So do they grab the water up there to bottle, or does it, so they
It
grab
comes out of the ground.
Right. So where do they actually grab it to put in the
Oh,
whiskey?
so when I was standing up at the cave there,
Yep.
if you go directly back and take a left, or actually take a right, depends on which way you're facing. We pull the bottle, we pull the water
So it's
out.
pulled
there.
out from
That's
out
the
there.
reason that dam is there. That's not natural. That little dam is there
Oh, okay.
to make a black backflow so we can pull water.
Nice.
All right,
Okay.
y'all follow me.
Very good.
All right, any questions on the barrel house? Any more you thought of? All right, follow me. We're gonna go over here to this is where we're gonna taste our whiskey. This is the oldest continuously used barrel house in Tennessee. It's built in 1938, right after Prohibition. Well, 5 years after Prohibition. And we still use it to this day. It used to hold 6,000 barrels, now it only holds about 1,200, because we sample in the middle of the live barrel house. When I mean live, the barrel's got whiskey in it. Okay? We'll see that when we go in. It used to say on there at the top, Jack Daniels Barrel House. Now it says George Green Barrel House. We dedicated it to him 2 years ago. And I'll show you the plaque. It's got the brothers on it, the original brothers, and plus the rest of them that's worked here over the years.
You said you were born and raised here? What was the first time you tried that? So that's what I'm saying. People who are born and raised there, I feel like probably
Well, actually, you know, not too far from the truth. So back when I was younger, they didn't have any stuff like put on teething rings. Some of the mothers would take the teething rings and put them in that.
That's a bad. That's terrible. June 17th, that's a good day.
got it. I got it for golf when I was a kid.
Especially for a fact, all the high schoolers here are college.
Yeah. All right, y'all. This is the original 6 brothers that worked here. George being the first. Then there's Charles, Jesse, Oscar, Townsend, and Otis. And those are the original 6 that worked here. The rest of them are their children. They're all Uncle Nearest grandchildren, except the sons, of course. There's still some. I don't know how many work here today now. 2. I know 2 for sure because I've met them, but there's more I know. All right, y'all, come on in.
Ooh, smell. Woo, woo. Nah, that's a smell.
Smells what I think like heaven might smell like. Or my house about 7 o'clock tonight. Y'all know we got a special, so this is a dry county, did y'all know that? This is the wettest dry county in Tennessee. Every drop of Jack Daniels is made here. What is a dry county? We don't have any bars, pubs, honky-tonks, nightclubs, liquor stores. There's only 3 ways to get whiskey while you're in Lynchburg proper. Y'all are on the first one, the sampling tour. The second way is when we leave here today, buy them in the White Rabbit Saloon. The third way, which is my favorite, and most anybody that works here, is on the first Friday of every month, along with their paycheck, we get a free bottle of Jack Daniels. That was this Friday. We call that Good Friday. It's the most well-attended day of work here. All right, y'all, this is inside of one of our barrel houses. You can take a deep breath. It smells pretty good if you like the smell of whiskey, which I do. This is, these are all rolled in by hillbillies. There's no forklifts in the 80 like this. Those up on the hill are like this one here. They weren't invented back then. We couldn't get them through there. They're too heavy. So they're all rolled in by us. So once they're rolled in, that's where they stay. Now, how'd they get up there? We got a barrel elevator, okay? I used to tell people we chunk them up there, but I think they believe me. But anyway, so these are rolled in, and this is where we stay. People ask me often, do we rotate them? Yes, we rotate them in and we rotate them out, and that's all the rotating they get. You know, we're not like some winemakers. Well, some of those people in Kentucky, some of those distilleries, say they roll their barrels from floor to floor so they can get the natural goodness of every floor. Well, if you know how to make good whiskey, you ain't got to do that. We do, so we don't. Besides that, it's 130 degrees in the upper floors of those barrel houses. You think you can get a bunch of hillbillies rolling barrels around up there? No. So, this is where they stay. Now, how do we decide when we take them out? Taste. Our master tasters, they get paid well for their palate. They'll drill a hole here, middle and end, and they get together with the rest of their drinking buddy, the rest of their master tasters, and they'll see what the profile is. If it meets the profile they want it to, they pull it out. You gotta have a really good palate. And then if it meets the profile, they'll pull out all these ricks, but they won't pull out the whole barrel house, because just because this floor is ready doesn't mean the rest of it is, because it's not going to mature. We don't ever fill barrel houses up at the same time for strategic reasons. But another reason, but even if we did, just say we did, and put it in all at the same time, it's not going to mature at the same rate, because it's cooler down here as it is right there, and hotter. The higher you go, the hotter it gets. It's like your house. Think about it like this is a basement, and you go to your attic, it's hotter up there. That's how it works.
So does every barrel get tasted?
No, man, they wouldn't have any livers left. No, they'll pull a sample here, middle and end. And if those are ready, then everything's ready.
Are the
They'll
barrels
pull it out.
dated?
Yes, just not in the Julian calendar that you know. So anyway, that's how it works. The hotter you go, so anywhere from 6.5 to 7 years it matures down here on the lower floors. And it goes up as it gets up in the upper floors in the barrel houses, anywhere from 4.5 to 5.5 to 6 years, okay? The higher it goes, the quicker it matures, but the more flavor it gets out of it. There's some science, there's just as much science to art to this as there is science. Because you can't roll it in here, because we got different barrel houses located in different locations. Some of them produce better whiskey than others, tasting as far as single barrels. All right, any questions?
So looking at the barrels, they look like they're different colors. Is that just because of the age?
Because of the time they've been in, yeah. Just because of the age they've been in here. These have been here longer than these.
These look kind of new, right?
These are, we put them in 2 years ago. So, but you'll see some leaked. Anything made by hand does leak. We pull anywhere from 800 to 1,000 barrels out 5 days a week, anywhere from 20 to 30 are empty. Which is sad, because that's good whiskey on the floor, but that's also $10,000 a barrel.
Oh, is that what it costs for one barrel?
One barrel is $10,000. You ain't gonna get to buy one for that. That's
No.
We'll sell you one, but there's gonna be add-ons to it. It's not buying a car. That's the asking.
Well, I guess that's the question. Is so they're $10,000 worth of whiskey
Product.
inside?
Yes, $10,000 worth of product.
That store or is that cost?
That's the cost. That's our cost.
That ain't my cost.
All right, y'all. Let's go drink some whiskey. If you want to stay with who you came here with, you better get with them now.
Tri-County.
No bars.
Ooh. I like in here. One, two, three, one, two, three.
Brotherly stuff.
Sit next to your sister.
All right, y'all. Don't forget, listen up. If you want to get those make an 8 samples, sip a little bit of the honey, save a little bit, sip a little bit of the cinnamon, save a little bit, sip a little bit of the apple, and save a little bit. Take the cinnamon, put some in the honey, that makes the bee sting. Take the rest, put it in the apple, makes the Tennessee candied apple. We gotta hurry up because I'm running late, so let's get started. So we got some. You got the water there. Cleanse your palate. Take your drink. Clean tongue. That's what it's for. After you take a shot of each whiskey, drink a little water. That cleanses your palate. Smell the back of your hand. That resets your olfactory so you don't go nose line. Because you're familiar smelling, you should know what you smell like. All right, first whiskey we're gonna try. We're gonna go from. Well, y'all got it on the card. Definitely right now. This is we're Tennessee sipping whiskey. Try to sip it. You can shoot it if you want to. It's your whiskey, but you get a better profile if you sip it. First whiskey we got, Gentleman Jack. So we're gonna hold it up to the light, get an appreciation for the color. We're gonna smell it, and then of course we're gonna sip it. This goes to charcoal melon twice. The first time we barrel it, the second time we bottle it. Okay, it goes through 3 foot. After the second time over there at south when we bottle it. So that's single barrel, so I mean that is Gentleman Jack. Now picking on up, it's got a nice amber color to it. It's a glass colored whiskey you're gonna see because it goes through charcoal melon twice. When you smell it, you're gonna get caramel, vanilla, barrel spice. Might get a little citrus. Some folks smell citrus in it, and then taste it. You might get the same profile like I just said. Caramel, vanilla, barrel spice, a little citrus on the back end. This goes good in this goes good in whiskey sours. It also goes good in Jack and Ginger. It was originally made in 1988 to get the ladies more interested in Jack. It didn't work on everybody evidently. People like it. Now this is the #1 selling whiskey in the world. We sell this one in Black Label Old No. 7. It not only is it it's going to make the #1 mixture in the world. What's that? Jack and Coke. Jack and Coke. But it goes good to coffee. Morning, dinner, night. Right? Goes good to Kool-Aid, lemonade, Sun Drop, Dr. Pepper, Sprite, whatever you want to drink it in. Ginger ale. Go ahead and pick it on over just straight out of the bottle. You can tell it's got a nice amber color. Smells like caramel, vanilla, barrel spice. You can taste it. Got a little spiciness on the back end, a little like a black pepper. That's going to be the rye, the spicy grain.
Hey Brian, question.
Yes.
No.
Is there a particular way to drink it? Do you just slam it down? A place on the tongue that you should drink
I
it?
don't like to shoot it because you don't, I mean, you bypass almost all your taste buds. You got taste buds in the back of your tongue, you got them in the front of your tongue. I sip it. I don't do straight. If it's straight, it gives me heartburn. I can't help it. So I drink it with a little ice on it. Sometimes I like a Jack and Coke, but it's your whiskey. You pay for it. You drink it however you want to. People that are curious say you just drink it neat. but you lose, you don't get all the full flavor of whiskey like that. You put a little water in it, and that water opens up flavors that you wouldn't notice just drinking it deep. And damn sure you wouldn't notice if you shoot it. All right, y'all. Now that is our black label old number 7. Next one we got.
I just want to say,
Hey, this is Matthew. Hey, Matthew, y'all welcome him back. He just got arrested the other day for indecent exposure, but that's okay. They let him off for lack of evidence.
I'm surprised I understand that.
You know what he said earlier when I was doing this? He come in and he said, hey, look, if y'all can't understand him, you can use Google Translate. All right, me and him's like brothers. He's a fireman, I was a paramedic, so this, I still am a paramedic. So this is single barrel rye. Single barrel rye's got a different grain bill. It's got mash bill. 70% rye, 18% corn, 12% barley. Okay, it's a rye whiskey. So it goes good to old fashions and Manhattans. Might have a little graham cracker taste to it or smell. When you smell it, it's going to be a little fruity though. I smell graham cracker in there. When you taste it, it's got a nice taste to it. Some people like rye, some people don't like rye. You either like it or you don't. I like rye. All right, this is just purely for marketing purposes. Y'all know what bitters are? Bitters, we make bitters now. We didn't used to, but now we do. We make better bitters than any better there is. Take it into bitters. There you go, that's no spill. All right, next one we got is Tennessee Honey. Tennessee Honey is old number 7, infused with cinnamon. Now this is the second best-selling whiskey we made, Tennessee Honey. Tennessee Honey is infused with honey from Subi out of Louisiana, some praline, some blackstrap molasses, which if you're from the South, you know what that is, and then some hazelnut. Now I always suggest you keep a bottle of this at the house for drinking purposes. Keep some in your freezer to put on vanilla ice cream. It goes really good on vanilla ice cream. If you don't make pancakes and you find yourself out of syrup, this goes great on pancakes or waffles. Waffles is home. If you want to do a little surreptitious day drinking, get you a vanilla milkshake, drink you out some, pour you in a couple shots of this, half a bottle of whatever.
Don't kill that one.
One of my just happy drinking a vanilla milkshake, walk around. One girl told me it tasted like college. Y'all pick that one up? When you open it up, it's not a nice overcoat. When you smell some honey right up front, followed by the whiskey. Now this one's a little bit more complex. When you taste it, you get the honey up front, followed by the whiskey, but then it's going to finish in like honey nutty Cheerios. You can also cook with it. It's great. It makes a great beef marinade. Salmon, it goes great on salmon. All right, next whiskey we got is Tennessee Fire. Tennessee Fire is old number 7, infused with cinnamon. Okay, now this is not real nuanced. It's pretty straightforward. It smells like, when you smell it, it smells like cinnamon and whiskey, followed by the whiskey. Now when you taste it, you taste the cinnamon up front, followed by the whiskey. That's pretty much it. There ain't no lingering nuance to it. It's pretty clean taste. I like it. This goes great in angry orchard apple ale, the green apple kind. Get your rocks glass, fill it halfway up, put some ice in there, take a couple of shots, put it in there, mix it all up. It's really good. We'll call it a fire out. That's not what it's called. All right, y'all. Next whiskey we got, last but not least, Tennessee Apple. Tennessee Apple is old number 7, infused with the juices of 3 different apples. Granny Smith, Red Delicious, and Macintosh. Okay, so go ahead and pick it on up. It's got a nice apple smell to it. It's going to have a sweet smell. Now, when you taste it, though, it's going to have a sweet smell, a sweet taste on the front end, followed by the whiskey. Then it's going to have a little tartness on the back end, like a green apple or Jolly Rancher. I don't know, that's my call. This goes good in ginger ale, half and half. Really good. It's really refreshing. I made some the other day before I mowed the yard. I never made it to mowing the yard, but I was good. All right, y'all, let's take a quick quiz, see who likes what. Who liked Gentleman Jack? Raise your hand. All right, good deal. Who liked Black Label Old Number 7? Who likes all those few hands up?
honey, mate.
Who like the honey? Everybody likes honey. I already know. Who like the rye? I mean the fire. All right, cool. Who like the apple? I like the apple myself, and the honey. The fire's all right, but I'm not gonna send the guy. So that's not all we make over here with Matthew. The legend in his own mind is we got our single barrels over there, single barrel select, single barrel proof. Single barrel proof goes anywhere from 125 to 140 proof. Yeah, if you never had 140 proof whiskey, let me tell you by experience, get you where you're going a whole lot quicker. And then we got the rye over there, single barrel rye, and then we got what's called the Tennessee Taster. It's a blend. It's our whiskey with it's rye and our Tennessee whiskey blended together. It can only be bought in Tennessee, and that's about it. Any questions? All right, y'all, we gotta get out of here. If you want your little glasses, take them with you. If you want your little paper, that's cool. Poster, that's cool. I don't care. These are wood here. Follow me.
I could care less. You want one or not?
Yeah, I got mine. Is your food?
Mine are more or less empty.
This is the good stuff. This.
Woo. We got 30% left. Gonna die. Well, this is Chris and Jim's Travel. It's about to die. We got the whole tour on though. We're at the end. We get ready to be released.
All right, y'all. Everybody enjoy your whiskey.
Very good.
Yep.
Good deal. Come on, we're about done. Any questions while you're thinking about it?
And that's the tour.
It all out. You want to buy some, buy more, and you can't carry it all out. We got wheelbarrow shopping carts. I promise you, we'll get it to your vehicle. We got an engraving service here. If you want to get something engraved, the bottles you got to buy over here to take over here to get engraved are the single barrels and the Gentleman Jack. Okay, if you want to get something that's got a lot of things on it, Gentleman Jack would be what I get. It's got more back surface area. Now they won't put anything on there that's copyrighted, like sports teams or military emblems. Like I was in the Marine Corps, they won't put DJA on there, Army, Navy, Air Force, puddle jumpers, none of that. But they'll do pretty much anything else. Okay. And that, oh, pictures y'all were in. If y'all get a little white piece of paper, some of them you do, some of them they don't. Take that over, and that's redeemable right over there. They'll let you see your picture. You still got to buy it. Okay. Other than that, go up on the town square and see the town square. It ain't a big town square, but there are things to see over there. Lynchburg Hardware Store, that's our gift shop, and General Mercantile. You go over there and buy something $10 more, you get a free Jack. Show them your tour pass, you get a free Jack Daniel's shot glass. Okay, Places to Eat over there. Barrel House Barbecue, Barbecue Caboose. If you're a vegetarian or a vegan in Lynchburg, you're going to be hungry. Pizza place, there's two pizza places. There's one that I like, it's called the Lynchburg Cigar Company. It's actually the Stone and Stave, but that's what they're selling. That's the original name on it. It's right across from the post office. They got a hand pizza oven, wood fired. They use staves from our barrels. They make pizza that you order handmade, and they got beer and cigars. That's like 3 of my major food groups right there. So go check it out. And they got places and fudge stores over there. It's got our whiskey in it. It's pretty tasty. Other than that, I appreciate y'all being on my tour. I hope you enjoyed it. Hope you learned a little bit, laughed a little bit, take some home from memory. But if you drink our product, please do so responsibly. Don't drink and drive. I know y'all are adults, but I've been a paramedic for 30 years. I've seen lots of people who didn't. Don't be one of them. It's too easy to call somebody nowadays, right? You got a cell phone. Call somebody you love. Call somebody you don't love. Just don't drive. Call Uber. Well, except for Lynchburg, we ain't got Uber. Other than that, y'all be safe. God bless you. Come back to see us again sometime, and may Jack be with you. Thank you. Yes, ma'am. Y'all are welcome.
Thank you.
Come on through. Thank you, man.
Hey everybody, it's Chris.
Hi, Joan.
For Chris and Jones
Travels.
Travels. Hey, that was the Jack Daniels tour. Make sure you like, subscribe. Hey, make sure you say something for Brian. Brian says he's going to watch this video after I
He's a
post
good
it.
tour guide. Ask
Great
Brian.
tour guide. Thanks. Don't forget, like and subscribe. Bye.
Comment below.